Hey, hello everyone, it's Dr. Sue here. Happy summer if you're in the part of the world that is experiencing summer, and happy dead of winter if you're in the part of the world that is doing that. So it's summertime where I am, and a lovely moment in time to connect with everyone. So whether you're too hot or you're looking for some warmth, we're going to talk about some signs of serving the soul. How do we serve the soul this evening on our short answer? We're going to be speaking about that, because I'll tell you, at the end of the day, nothing matters more than you allow your soul to have the voice that it came here to have the life that it came here to have, and the way to do that is coming up soon. Okay, I want to tell you about a couple of things that are announceable in this moment. First of all, just let me say, it's so good to connect with you guys. You know, it's crazy times, right? And it's so wonderful. Even though I can't see you right now, I can see you in my mind's eye, and with my third eye vision, I can see what's happening energetically with this amazing Energy Codes community. And I just want to just share some love with you in this moment. There is such a warm, deep connection with what we have happening here inside of this community, and I feel so incredibly, incredibly blessed. Every day I get up, and I used to be, jumping into a car and driving to the airport, packing and unpacking and flying someplace, and that's not happening in my personal life right now. But what is happening in those spare moments is a reconstruction of my life, and I'm having all kinds of amazing new ideas that I'm going to be bringing forth in some programs for you in the very near future that I've never taught before, because of what happens when I sit still. There's this download that happens, and I just love being able to share it with all of you. So thank you for your yes, and for aligning with your true self, because as you are doing that, our paths cross, and in the vibrational frequency that we meet, many beautiful things unfold in our lives. We start to shed what doesn't matter and cultivate what does matter, and we refine our focus in this life together. So thank you for your participation in this world with me. I had no idea when I started teaching in these ways, almost 20 years ago, that it would unfold in such a beautiful connection with people around the world. So welcome all of you that are outside of the U.S. that we probably wouldn't be connecting with had our pandemic days not begun a few months ago. So blessed are we, yes. We could just kind of feel that together for a moment. I would love to really share that love, gratitude, appreciation that the soul is made of in this moment, okay? So let me just share with you some things that are, coming. There are still some free BodyAwake Yoga classes happening Thursdays at 11 a.m. Eastern Time in the U.S., and I'm loving sharing that with you. And so then starting in August, it will be still available. We're just having to rearrange things a little bit, and we're still going to bring it as often as we possibly can. But there are definitely two new classes each month that are going to be coming after August, live and pre-recorded. They're going to have streaming access to all of the classes that we've already taught, which are more than 30 of those classes, and I'll constantly be adding to those. So that's all part of the membership. There is a link below in the chat that will tell you how to plug into that monthly free BodyAwake yoga class that's now becoming the monthly BodyAwake yoga class. So yoga's free tomorrow, so you better be there. I'm going to be there, and then 3 more classes of that, and then starting in August, if you want to continue to be able to connect with us, that's the way you're going to do that, through that yoga membership. So then also I wanted to remind you of our free monthly healing transmission, and I have some interesting news about that the monthly healing transmission has been so successful and so appreciated by so many people that it started me really just feeling into that, and I realized that it is a perfect time for us to share the healing. And so I'm going to be doing some projects that are leading toward this idea of us coming together and learning how to give and to receive at the same time. This healing transmission and the energetics that are involved with that, they aren't just coming through me, they're coming through you too. And I want to teach you how to access that and to allow it to emanate for your own self-healing, and also to heal with the people that you know and love, and even the people that you've never met, but that you care deeply about around our planet. So it's part of my attempts to bring our global family not only together, but also to bring them together in such a way that we are a beneficial presence on the planet for those that have not yet found us, and emanate through the invisible frequency waves that which is grounding and integrated and whole and true. So you'll want to look for that. It'll be coming later this summer for a program that we'll be launching called Remote Healing. So I'm very excited about this, because I know that we can have a global impact, and that's the point, right? That's the point, that all of humanity benefit from the things that we're sharing and speaking about. So look for that. It's a Remote Healing program. Let's see what else I got here. So there is also a free ebook and a webinar offering that's coming down the pike. It's starting actually today, and beginning tomorrow you'll have great access to that. There's a free ebook that I'm offering out there about the top 3 mistakes that keep you from your fulfillment and flow in life. And it is there is also going to be a free webinar that I'm doing that is live Q&A teachings about the secrets to syncing up your deep inner superpowers, and tying those things together for freedom and flow and fulfillment in your life. And so when you get your free ebook, then you attend one of the upcoming webinars, and then you're going to see something in your inbox likely about that, because we want everybody to land in this conversation together at the same time. So that's coming, and then you'll find out how to join the upcoming Energy Codes Level 1 if you've never been to Level 1 from that, which is going to be starting in August. So I'm doing a modulated version of Level 1 where we have a class, and then a week, and then another class, and then a week, and then another class, etc., so that you can learn the content of how to build the neurocircuitry in your system in a sustainable manner that will allow you to integrate into your own multidimensionality. Because we are multidimensional energy beings, and I want humanity to awaken to that it's time for us to realize that we are not just these 3D people that are subject to our 5 senses, that there is a 6th sense in you that is the real you, that is waiting to emerge out beyond those other senses and take those other senses to new heights, so that you literally are operating in another version of yourself that is so much more capable and so much more creative and so much more willing to be vulnerable and learn and awaken and find abundance and intimacy and vulnerability and strength, all to be of equal value. And when we start to embrace all of those things, everything changes. Okay, so we're coming into that conversation very shortly here. I just have to check here if I'm supposed to say anything else about anything. Stay tuned for more upcoming events. We'll be sending out the info soon. The introduction to the remote healing. I was actually ahead of schedule here, that I shared that with you already. And also a BodyAwake Yoga online intensive that we're going to be doing in September 24th through the 28th. It's a 5-day program where I'm going to teach you every asana that we're working with inside of the energy codes, for the most part, every asana, but then sharing with you what parts of the brain, what parts of your chemistry systems, what parts of the hormonal system or the immune system are being impacted by the different asanas. Most importantly, how they collectively stack up this column to awaken into these high brain centers, so that we are illuminating at the 3rd eye level, and we are operating as our true executive creatorship on this planet, rather than just being a better reactor or responder. So it is something that many people who have been long-term students of the energy codes have taken that yoga intensive in a live, in-person event, and now this year, because of our circumstances, we're going to offer it online around the world. So you might want to check that out, because it is deeply integrative, and that, of course, is what I'm all about, is the deep integration and the embodiment of our highest nature and our full potential. So think about it. 5 days all day. We're going to do yoga poses. You're going to learn about it. We're going to break into little groups online and share about am I doing it correctly and get the feedback. It's going to be a fabulous, fabulous time. So looking forward to all these things that are coming up and so much more. So that's it for my announcements. Now I want to get to the short answer, okay? Serving the soul is the single most important thing that you will learn to do with your mind in this lifetime. Serving the soul is really about remaining vulnerable and remaining open and remaining present to what is truly, authentically happening on an energetic level. When we are aligned with that and we don't let anything unattach us from that true connection, nothing unplugs us, nothing disconnects us. When we learn through the energy codes how to build those circuits, of course it is much more sustainable. But in this conversation, some of you haven't yet been in the coursework, and I want you to start to get a feel for what matters in your life, what the purpose of your life is, and how we're going to go about mastering this life experience. And service to the soul is the single most important thing that the mind will ever learn how to do. And so if you are going to identify with one or the other, the invitation in the short answer today is identify as the soul that has a mind that you're training to serve you. Whereas historically, we have been identified with the mind who has a soul that every once in a while we do something to feed it. We say, oh, that's good for the soul. Oh, that was good for the soul. That was good for my soul. And so when we speak like that, we're not identified as the soul. When we're speaking like that, we are identified as the mind that is looking for the rest of my being, the spirit being, the soulful self, my heart of hearts. Those things are something that I possess. And in reality, they are who I am. When we make that quantum flip and allow myself to be the soulful self, and I have to train my mind to not get so protective, or not get so performing, or not get so demanding, or not get so critical or judging or being filled with so many expectations, all of which are things that the mind does in its attempts to feel whole and complete. It has to be in charge, it has to be controlling, it has to be doing something to overcome the very reality that the mind alone is not the true self. It is not the foundation of who I am, and it will always feel inadequate. So the longer I remain identified as the mind, the longer I will be controlling, have expectations, the longer I will be defensive or reactive or protective, and on and on and on. So when it's time to lay that down, here's what has to happen. When we feel afraid, we say we're afraid. When we feel vulnerable, we own that vulnerability is a gateway. It's an opening. It's not a closing. It's not a weakness. It's an opening into a truer reality that will allow you to draw into your reality people who are kind, people who care, people who think about you as much as they think about themselves or the problems of life. You will draw into your life experience a kind and spacious way of being. And as that begins to happen, you start to notice your own abundance. And as your own abundance is becoming obvious to you, you are available for humanity. You're available for your neighbor. You are available for friendships. You're available for family in ways that you weren't available before because you were caught in the fact that they didn't see you, or they didn't know you, or they weren't like you in some way. We get caught up in the idea that we don't belong, all because of a domino reaction of being identified as the mind to begin with. And so when we serve the soul, it is that we are training the mind to serve our authenticity. That when we feel inspired, that we allow our idea to matter, that we allow what we would love to contribute to be potentially of value, that we don't sweep it under the rug or throw it under the bus and just decide, I have no voice. So if you find yourself saying things like, no matter what, I don't matter, I'll never be enough, or this will never change, or that's never going to happen. Those are all verbiages that come from a mind-based reality, a reactive mind, a protective personality, the backside of the model. When we default into those experiences and those statements are coming out of our mouth or running through our mind, we're on the backside of the model. We're not allowing ourselves to be in the fullness of our true being. We're keeping ourselves confined in a reality that is limiting our abundant life experience. And we're here to identify that very thing. We're here to notice when we're doing that and to never let it happen, or when it is happening, to simply disconnect it, incomplete it. Don't allow it to carry on as if it's a true reality. If there is conflict, it's about what we're identified as. If there is stress inside of your body, inside of your mind, inside of your life, you are identified on the backside of the model. If there is a thing that you think someone needs to change in order for you to be okay, you're operating on the backside of the model. When you're interested and curious about creating a life and you're able to bring that creativity forward no matter what's going on around you, and not get defensive or not shut down in some protective way, or to not get controlling or some kind of safety mechanism that you've implemented, when that's not happening, you're on the front side of the model. You're operating from the soul when you're in that space. The soul is loving. The soul is fine. If you're fine, if you're like really good, if you're fine, you're in the soul. If you're having fun and delight, you're in the soulful self. You're on the front side of the model. When things are hard or filled with impossibility, you're inside of the protective personality. It might be referenced as the wounded self. It might be referenced as the ego mind. But nonetheless, no matter what we call it, if there is pain, we're on the backside of the model. So no matter who's in charge of your pain in your mind, in your story, no matter what's causing your pain inside of your story, what you're here to learn how to do is serve the soul. Serve the soul. That's it. Serve the soul. All the time, serve the soul. If you have a gut feeling on something, serve the soul. If you have a desire that you'd love to pursue but you don't let yourself, serve the soul. Because the soul is so abundant that it would tell you in an instant, I can roll, we can do this, we're going to step into this, and the universe is going to follow along behind us and support the decisions that we've made. The soul lives in this way because the soul knows that the soul came into this dimension to have a life experience. And it knows that it's made of the universe, it's made of the cosmos itself. So it knows that when we are in full-hearted, full-on focus, open-hearted, full steam ahead choice, and we're taking action in that direction, that the whole of the manifest world is going to slide right down through your funnel, through your channel, and out into the world. And it's going to create a life that you love living. It's going to blow your mind, and at times it's going to create some wobble, but you keep choosing toward the soul. You keep choosing toward this signature soulful vibrational frequency that is the truth of who you are. And every choice that you make along those ways will perhaps initially create some friction, create an uprising, cause you to even buckle over. But if there's something in there that is a deep desire, but you're just afraid that it won't happen, if you will allow yourself to step in that direction, things start to break open. They break free. And when they break free, the soul has the life because we've served it. The mind is a magnifier. It's time to serve the soul. We have been seated down in these last many months for purposes of safety and response to a pandemic, etc. And I want to remind you that all of that is happening in divine timing, that there is a right timing to what has happened in your life because of those circumstances, what you are experiencing, and what you're hearing in this now moment. There is a divine resource that is revealing itself to you right now. And what that is you at the highest level telling you at the smallest level that we've got this. that you are here to pierce right out into the true expression of who and what you are. And the truth of who and what you are is not angry, it is not afraid, it is not shut down, it is not limited, it is not writing stories. Instead, it is creative, it is imaginative, it is innovative, it is ingenious, it is appreciative and grateful and constantly, robustly revitalizing itself. And if we let that happen without getting in the way, everything unfolds in a most beautiful fashion. There is so much happening in my world right now that I need the 8 arms of the goddesses and the gods to be able to manage it all, and I do. It's called a village of beautiful people that are gathered together as this amazing team to have things unfold. And that team exists in my life because I allow that to be true. And I allow the team to shine and to gather and to ask for the assistance that they need. And it just keeps getting bigger because of the yes that is flowing through this life that we are living together. And so I want to invite you to serve the soul. Because when you serve the soul, that same kind of abundance will flow through you. And when you get into the Energy Codes coursework, if you've not been, then you start to learn how to build the neurocircuitry and the electromagnetic circuitry to allow that flow to happen in a consistent fashion. And so, of course, in the short answer, I'm going to tell you that I'm going to invite you in to the coursework, and there happens to be a level 1 of the coursework coming up in August. So it's perfect divine right timing. Perhaps you've stumbled upon us through the healing transmission or the free BodyAwake Yoga, or somehow just surfing online, and you ended up in the short answer conversation. And I know that the reason that people inside of this community have flourished the way that they have and are such a beautiful, loving presence for one another, the reason that that exists at the level that it does inside of this community is because we are connecting in and in service to the soul. We're serving the true self, and as such, there is abundant love and resource available for each other. So if you happen to be watching right now and you are struggling in any way, I just want to share with you that there is a deep answer inside of you. And even if that answer is underneath a knot in your stomach or a tightness in your chest, it's there. And if you will learn to breathe into it and to breathe it open and keep breathing consciously up and down the central channel, that you can find in the book, you can find on my YouTube channel, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, you can do all kinds of things to educate yourself on the basic fundamentals of the energy codes. Please do so, because the soulful self resides underneath that pain, and it is trying to find its way out through the layers of filtering that are inherent in being in the third dimension and that are compounded by the years of our hesitations and procrastinations and self-judgments that we have gathered and collected, all of which is also in divine order. Allow yourself to pierce through these things and to reveal. So the soul is fine, the soul is having fun, and the soul is fundamentally who you are. It is foundational to your being. And if you'll allow that to be the case for you personally, then I'll be joining you on the front side of the model day after day after day. And I'll be reading your testimonials as you send them in to us about the things that are changing and evolving in your life, just like it has happened for thousands and thousands of people over the last nearly 2 decades that we've been in this work and sharing it. It is a time that this work was built for, and I know it. And I know that you feel it, or you wouldn't be here in this moment. So we're certainly going to dive in more deeply in the master class coming up very soon. We're starting the master class at, they're going to tell me in just a moment. At a quarter of. We're going to start the master class at a quarter of the hour, so that's about 20 minutes from now. It gives you time to click on the link that you can see in the chat and sign in and join us in the master class. You become a gold member at that point, and you have access to archives of master classes from the beginning of the master class time, years and years and years of that. And you can fill and binge watch. I think people were telling me the other day, I totally binge watch you all the time, and my eyes are poking out of my head. I watch you so long. So the benefit of that is we get inundated and we create a cellular reclamation. We begin to reconstruct who we are and what our foundation is. So we're going to start at a quarter till. We're going to go about 45 minutes in the master class and be finished at about 8:30 Eastern time for the master class. So please do join us, plug in, be there early, be ready, and do something to help serve the soul on a deeper level this evening by joining us in that rich conversation of Q&A that gets to happen, and the unveiling of the one conversation that is happening around the world and has been since the beginning of time. I absolutely love weaving that together for you in the master class. So much love to you, my dear, dear community. Thank you for letting me be a part of your community called the Energy Codes community. That's how I feel about it. It's such a blessing in our lives to be bonded together in this way at times when we can feel so incredibly isolated. So join me in that class and allow some exchange to happen. You'll love what you experience inside of that course that's happening in just about 17 minutes, okay? So I will see you there. Much love to you all, and please, please, please serve the soul. Blessings. Namaste.